So I can read this book, right? You said you're stalking me at Liquid Church. He wrote this book. He wrote several books. You're stalking me entirely because I can read it. He said he was exploring natural history, athletics, public service, and law enforcement. So people are in mental wards in prisons. They're supposed to go off to the army. People are going to work on something, but I don't know how to help them. So people are trying to be a great guy, work on something, but I don't know how to help you because, let's see, by 1986, over 1 million athletes participated in this sport. He founded the sport of triathlon in the United States, okay, in 1966. So he was a sports athlete who invented the triathlon. Okay, then a cardiologist, world explorer, author, photographer, museum director. So the clams, pearls, we have some cherry stone clams and some little neck clams. They can be worth over like $3,000 to $16,000 worth of clam pearls. Right here in America, he's like a respected author, photographer. So in 1986, 1 million people were in this triathlon, right? And in 1966, he founded the triathlon, right? So he's like a sportsman. He invented this triathlon, and then he was locked in prison because I could read his book. So in 1986, the Challenger exploded. He had 1 million people in his triathlon, right? So you said you're using doctors. You're using doctors to attack me with these drugs and mental health. Your dirty cops attacked me that he left a book about writing a book, huh? So he's supposed to leave $5 million to Villanova. They say he didn't do that. So he didn't get this money from his triathlon. He found this triathlon, you said. So you're going at wrestling and, So Olympic triathlon, he invented that. 1 million people attended. So then I could read the book, right? Bonding with people. They said they liked football, they were poor. Assault and battery doctors. I was preoccupied as I crossed the court toward the field house. I was very early in the morning, and as a coach, I had a lot to do to get ready for the morning practice. So you had like 1 million people, and you were stalking around, you were talking, you barely reading right. The Foxcatcher spirit, Team Foxcatcher was created, continues today, in this same spirit. It was an example of the dedication to the citizen athlete that produces champions on and off the mat. It really began with my father who lived in Montpelier, Virginia, with these cherry stone clams worth up to $16,000 his younger years. That is also the home of President James Madison, author of the U.S. Constitution and fourth President of the United States of America. In 1905 or so, my dad acquired a pack of foxhounds and began training them on his farm in Virginia. They became the basis for his sporting interest in fox hunting. In 1916, my mother's father purchased a farm in Pennsylvania called Leicester Farm. Later in 1919, when my parents married, they came there to live. Dad called it Foxcatcher Farm a center of our lives. So wedding present my paternal grandfather, William du Pont Sr., had built on the farm replica Patterson Madison's home, Montpelier. Incidentally, that house was designed by President Thomas Jones. I grew up on these farms. They had always been my home. And as a boy, I saw here the potential to do something very special for other athletes. Even as I cleared running trails and training areas for myself, I knew that someday I would be able to do the same for others. It's more than idle interest. It was my responsibility. All this crystallized in my mind because of the joy and sense of accomplishment I see from being part of the Santa Clara Swim Club. There I saw what could be accomplished and how to do it. We pioneered techniques of training and physical development that proved successful time and again for the athletes in and out of the water. Santa Clara Swim Club built allegiance and camaraderie among coaches and staff and athletes that was remarkable. Remains so today. This is the only club for which I have ever competed. I continue to director and member today. My greatest moment in life was when I stood on the winning block of the foreign soil, heard a national anthem. It made me proud to be American, proud of my heritage, and grateful for the labor of others who made it possible. With this as a background and training experience, I was determined when my father passed away in 1965 to do for others what be done for me. Foxcatcher Farm, now mine for my father, would become a center for volunteer athletic competition. I began by constructing a facility with competition-sized swimming pool and gymnasium. In 1971, a shooting range was completed in the same building in the swimming area. So subsequently changed into what was now Foxcatcher Wrestling Room, today the Wrestling Center. Some of the finest wrestling athletes in the world. See, they said the assault and battery of football made people poor. They couldn't pay for their stuff. They were drugging people. Talking about having kids people don't know about because they're drugs. They said they're trying to knock people out with doctors' drugs now, slip them a Mickey, get them pregnant, raise kids without people knowing it, blame the victim, try to abduct your kids, huh? In addition to the swimming and wrestling competitors, the Foxcatcher facility is also headquarters for training athletes in the modern pentathlon, triathlon track, particularly cross-country and gymnastics. Plan to add to existing facilities and to create facilities for other sports as time and proper staffing permit. We don't select our athletes, they select themselves. Our philosophy has always been anyone is that kind of talent is welcome. Ultimately, their own talent and desire will be separate them and champion their competitors. Job is to make their choices possible. The rest is up to them. 20 years of Team Foxcatcher has made a significant contribution. Thousands of our athletes have gone on to compete in every part of the world. A few years ago, when swimming was highly competitive in this area, there were more than 300 swimmers training here. So they didn't get the money they want, but they have a book here. So the doctors were talking mental health, drugging people, making them knock unconscious, getting them pregnant with kids they don't know, then they blame them. Talk about their abortions and slut shame them. So they talk about mental health, or they're torturing and listening to what they did to kids. So they're getting to make people have kids they don't know about because they're forcing them, because I don't know. Raising kids in a foster care system, that's what they want to talk about, I don't know. So he's trying to have like a triathlon named after him. They founded it and invented the triathlon. Then you talk about doctors and mental health and how nobody had all the expenses to try to raise people, have people taking drugs and being raped and slut shamed. So he's trying to have a triathlon where you're saying the doctors are trying to do stuff to people in mental health. So he's trying to have a triathlon. This is kind of popular. A million people want to try out for it. So they are selling Lycra. They have a book to sell. So he invented the triathlon. In 1986, the Challenger exploded. Gave you a book to sell about his triathlon because you can't just kill Mike Smith in the Challenger. We didn't really sell this tubing for spacesuits a lot because you killed Mike Smith in the Challenger. NASA has like maybe 100 people watch because you killed Mike Smith. A million people might race in a triathlon named after John E. du Pont. One time they didn't get the money they wanted. It's a book to hawk and sell. So doctors would attack people about drugs and mental health and rape women and slut shame them, have kids in foster care system. I don't know what happened. They're like raising kids in foster care for money, like raping people, taking their kids from them, making them take really bad drugs. So try to triathlon with God knows what happened to women's kids, right? So triathlon, clothing for 1 million people who don't get their book. So this is a book you can buy and sell for money. You are supposed to be at $15.95. So 1,000,000 people, you can buy and sell a book that's like $15 million plus clothing and stuff, t-shirts. Oh yeah, the doctors are attacking me, stalking me. Liquid truths like human trafficking and sex trafficking. Nobody had that kind of money. So they're stalking at this guy trying to betray out to sell t-shirts and stuff. You're attacking a mental health, stalking me. Saying you're using drugs to knock out women and date rape them and take their kids and stuff. Because that's just what the doctors are doing. So he's trying to sell you t-shirts and books for your triathlon. This is you're not allowed to be with someone. So you're the 1,000,000 people who could be a couple and have kids and stuff. This is a rose quartz. It's supposed to be $3,000 to $5,000, $6,000 now. You can get them in New York, Pennsylvania, and North Carolina. They have big mines. They're supposed to have a precious jade. So you have beautiful rose quartz. They were $5,000 for, right? So fashion, they had trillions of dollars made garbage. Here's a $5,000 rose quartz crystal. So you could have been a couple, but they said they're drugging and raping people, forcing people to have kids, taking their kids from them. He's trying to give you be a celebrity couple, right? So you should have been able to be a celebrity couple, right? But you're talking about him, about Jesse Owens and teen gymnastics, So you said I could read the book. Then you're talking to me about your sex slavery at church, drugging women, slut-shaming them. I don't see these churches have doctors raising kids in foster care or something. I don't know, taking people's kids from them. Slut-shaming women, human trafficking. So this say you can't be a celebrity couple, right? But you killed them in prison because a book to sell. So you had a book to sell when you were talking about human trafficking and sex slaving. They said running and training for bicycle and swimming was less dangerous than a football team. You could be a celebrity couple, right? Had t-shirts to sell. So they liked football, but the assault and battery wasn't really good for you. This was running and swimming and bicycling. Wasn't really that difficult. People still do this stuff, right? So they said 1,000,000 people in 1986 while Mike Smith died on the Challenger. We didn't have those sales. There's a book you can sell. Apparently you can swim and bike and be a sprint runner in a triathlon. 1,000,000 people can do that. You can be a couple and run. So you're allowed to be a couple and run, but they're doing human trafficking and sex trafficking. So this is a quartz for precious couples to go stick it out together. Have t-shirts and clothing to sell for being a sports team. So you spend all this money on football, but these assaults and battery with doctors, drugging people, attacking them, sex trafficking women in the doctor's office, is the mental health. This is what they want to talk to you about and blame me. So you can be a couple and sit and run in his triathlon. You got gymnastics and my grandpa Cooley and Jesse Owens, and their sex abuse and rape. Dr. Nasser, teen gymnastics, They said it happened. They said you're allowed to be a couple, but then they said they're gay and stuff, and I don't know what to tell you because they're horribly abusing people in teen gymnastics. So selling t-shirts and lycra and spandex for your sports event. $15 million from 1,000,000 book sales. They said you could be a celebrity couple, but then they keep going about teen gymnastics and sex abuse and Jesse Owens. So they said they're allowed to, right? Allowed to be a couple, but you're talking about him in liquid church, human trafficking. So he tried, but you're just saying really bad stuff and not seeing a celebrity couple. So you can't really read the books you have locked in prison. Stalking me, or your human trafficking and rape.